Alright, so I am not going to be working on the Coronet. I'm not going to be working on that. I'm not going to be working on the Beetle. I'm working on my Jeep. Because I'm really excited. Because I got... the floors are rusted out in the Jeep. So, I have new floor pans and stuff to put in it. And I did the passenger side off camera and everything. It was the worst side. But I got to do the driver's side, and I figured why not film a little bit of it. So I've got to get the seats out. Now I already gutted the interior. There's nothing in it. There's no carpet. Well, okay, I take that back. There's no carpet, and I put 3.5 seats back in it because I only put the top of the bottom or the top of the back seat in, but I didn't bolt it in all the way. I don't even know if I bolted it in at all. I might have just stabbed it in. So I'll just pull that out because I might do some work underneath the rear seat. There's a little bit of holes and stuff. And then I got to pull my driver's seat out. I'm going to leave the passenger one in, even though there is a little hole under the right rear part of the seat. I'll fix that later. I already made a panel. It's just sitting in there, but I'll have to cut it out. So I think I'm gonna work on that today, just to get something out here done, because there's a lot of projects. I'm hoping, as long as I don't break anything doing stupid stuff, that's ready to go to the Nats. And I'm gonna film the Nats. I'm pretty certain I'm gonna film the Nats, at least a little bit. Walk around, show some cars. Definitely film the Burnout, because we're gonna be in it. We're gonna use the old wagon wheels. Wagon wheels. Yeah, these are pretty. They're actually, you know, it's sad because these tires aren't actually that bad, but like they're slightly dry rotted. So I just figure my dad, if he wants to use these rims or anything, he should probably get some better tires. But I think I'm going to use the rims when I end up taking that down the drag strip again. I really wanted to this year, but after I broke that drive shaft, and I still haven't bought tires, and there's just little stuff that I need to do before I can even take it down the strip, which is a little upsetting, but it'll save me more money if I just fix the little stuff now. So that's the plan. Work on the Jeep today. I gotta get this moved and out of here, and then pull the Jeep in. Sounds like my dad got home. I can hear his work car running. The dog out there. So that's the plan. Alright. Move the corn out. Alright, that's a piece for that. There they are. Grabbing the wrong key. I didn't even shut my door all the way. There we go. Alright. Move this out the way. Oh, there we are. Good thick oil in there. Hard to keep it running when it's cold. Alright. We got the ramps down. Hopefully they're in the right spot. I guess we'll find out. Yep. Alright, I got them in the right spot. Cool. I'm gonna find somewhere to park this at the moment. I'm not entirely sure where I should park it, because I don't think it's going to fit next to the wagon. Right here. But, well, I guess I could pull it in. It'll fit there, then. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not going to try it. We'll just park it over here in the grass. Oh, I love the cam in this thing. It sounds so good. goes. Ugh. Okay, bottom hill. Perfect. Get the Jeep. Pull the Jeep in. Hopefully not smash the ramp any worse than it already smashed it. See, the floor's a little gone. Not much left. That side though, oh, this side turned out great. Beautiful. I'm happy with it. I need to do something about those though. They're really, really rusty. Let's see if I can put this in for the Jeep. Perfect. It's right there just fine. And I got all my doors off, so. Fires right up every time. It looks rough and it's got. Well, I can't play that. It's got 293,000 on it and climbing. The red Jeep that I had 314,000 on it when I stopped driving it, but it was so rusty that I couldn't drive it. Like me and Sammy working on his Jeep have microphones or nothing. I can go line these up a little bit better. I definitely smashed it a little more when I pulled in. This also has a little bit of a belt squeak again, and I had it before when I got it, and it was the water pump was bad. This time though, water pump shouldn't be bad. It's brand new, and I haven't really drove it much. It's either that or it's time for a new belt. Probably that one. Yep, smells like a Jeep. Alright, yeah, it's needs some work. But somebody's already cut all this out, which is great. Because I'm planning, I don't know what to do about like this section, but I've seen a lot of people on YouTube and stuff, big YouTubers and stuff, that have off-road rigs, especially these Jeeps, and they make box tube and run it along here to make rock sliders. So I think I'm gonna put rock sliders on it and then either make this all one thing, a rock slider, and just use box tube, or I'm gonna lay box tube under here and then cut this out and get like a donor Jeep or something and cut the bottom off here and then just put the piece from the donor Jeep on. I haven't quite decided what I want to do yet, but I know I'm going to put rock sliders on it. I just don't know how I want to do it. If I want to make that whole piece, like I said, or just the bottom half. I'm thinking probably just the bottom half because it might make the bottom of the door look a little bit better. We'll see what I can get. But I need to pull this seat out. I'm just going to leave that one in, like I said, because that floor is mint. Oh, it turned out so good. I'm so proud of that. But I need to get that out. I'm going to cut it. However, I'll have to measure on that other floor pan. The new pan that I got. I wish I would have done it on that side because it would have been a lot quicker because I had a big gap up here. But if I can get this measured out good enough and then this pulled out, all this heat shield and stuff, hopefully I can get that out. That looks like it's gonna be tough. Plasma cutter though will just go right through all this. But if I can, oh look, a body plug, cool. I'll just keep that for the other one. Oh, it's all coming up with it. Keep that. So that's the plan. All right, I gotta get started. Stop talking so much. I think I ran through. Yep, I could smell it. Well, that sucks. Oh well. Let me get started. I'm gonna pull this seat out and then either cut that out or maybe just show it before I cut it out. I don't know, I'll probably have it all cut out. That's what I'm gonna start working on. All right, I got the seat out of here. I already packed this to over the winter when I bought it. So I'm not going to mess with this. I have a rear panel for it, like a rear floor panel pan, but this one, I mean, it was only bad like right here, And I just cut it all out and put this plate in. So I'm gonna finish this because can't have that, especially with a unibody, and all needs to be one. And then I gotta get this out. I'm gonna try to reuse this. It's not too terribly bad, like it's not rotten, but I mean it's getting there. And then I pulled the dropping my phone. I pulled the insulation out of there, and I mean it's bad enough. I can grab this and just pull my floor off. So yeah, it needs done. Definitely overdue. At least this isn't bad, I guess. Alright, I'm going to continue to get to work. Alright, I'm starting to cut it out now. I used the air hammer, or air chisel, got that piece out. Sorry for the shadow. Now I'm just going along. I went low on my line because I used the tape measure and measured like the radius down here up, and I think I got the measurements close, but I figure I'd cut under the line anyway. Try to leave as much as I can in case I got the measurement a little wrong, and then that'll give me some more I could chop off. But it's coming along. Plasma cutter's eating right through it, does not care. But it's also extremely thin now because of how rusty it is. So, and it's a drag tip, which is nice. Don't even have to worry about, sticking or rounding out and not falling. I do have safety splints on, so we're good. Well, I was really hoping that just fell right off. There it went. Okay. That's a good chunk taken out. That's right. Must be good metal right there. There we go. Right through it now. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm gonna let that cool off a second before I grab it by my bare hands. No. Yep. That's free. Oh, sorry. Ooh. Oh, you know what? That's not bad. That's way better than the other side was. Alright, there's not great, but we'll pour 15 over that and fix it. But that problem will be fixed with that. Alright, I'm gonna cut the rest of this out and then fit the floor in. Probably chisel this out too, so this might not be here. After a few hours, it's been a couple hours, it's out. Completely and utterly out. This thing works wonders. Thank you, Sammy, for reminding me we had one of those, and just to use that on the other side. That everybody needs those that are doing floor. Air hammers or air chisels, whatever you want to call them. Fantastic for doing floors. You just chisel these suckers off. Now in the coronet, I never thought of that either. So in the coronet, when I did its floor, I just used a hammer and a chisel. That took forever and a lot of bloody fingers. But from now on, air chisels where it's at. So I've got this floor to finish up. Gotta do the floor and the duster. Gotta finish it, even though it's a shelf right now. A really messy shelf. The wagon might need some patch panels, and then my brother's car needs driver floor. So I'll help him do that. Or do it. I don't really care. If I get time, I'll just start tearing into it. But, so I had this just shutting in my door for my wire for my light bar, and I ran it down here, through the fender and bent this up a little bit so that this would fit freely and not get cut. And then I ran it back behind there, right through here, and into a grommet, and then it goes up under the dash into the switch. And I thought that looked way better than just leaving it, because I was gonna actually run it through this, but then I'd have to cut this, and this is already broke, so it wouldn't really hold. But I think I like this a little more. And then I had to cut that boot too, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, if I'm really worried about it, I have another one out of the red Jeep. But so I decided to finish this because at the moment this is my daily driver, because my Civic needs some things, but I bought this as a spare vehicle anyway, and I've been procrastinating on it. And I had the floor on the other side to halfway done. All I had to do was finish welding it, seam sealing everything, and pour 15. Well, really, really glad I did it. And now it's getting me excited, so I want to do this side, patch. I'll probably patch the trunk later, but if I can get this pour 15 and seam sealed and everything, I'm going to rhino line the whole inside of this sucker, and then I'd like to put the carpet back in, because the carpet does help with sound dampening, and I know the rhino line will help with the sound dampening, but I don't know, I just like the way the carpet looked in here, because it looks factory, but like it'll be, I don't know, just weird. And then I can just pressure wash the carpet. I was gonna put drain holes in this, but I don't know where I want to put them yet. And I could use the body plugs, except this body plug is slightly raised, so it's not going to drain water very well. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I got all this cut out. Now I need to try to clean this out as best I can. Either spray it out with air, because we don't have a shot vac anymore, or just sweep it out as best as I can and pour 15 over it. And I guess I'll probably just blow it out with air, because I mean there's a lot of mouse nests and stuff in there. That's what was left of the floor. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish this up. The inner rocker isn't awful. I mean, it's not great. It's really dented right here. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. If I should just beat it with it. I'll probably just beat it with a hammer and then pour 15 over it and weld to it as best I can. Because I think I stitch welded over there. I just welded it every once in a while, wherever good metal was, so I just went past all this. Ooh, look at that. I can work on the transfer case and stuff right from here. And get all the mud and stuff out of the slider. Skid plate slider. What's that? Oh. Huh. I think that was pour 15. Alright. So I just cleaned it with brake clean. I'm getting ready to pour 15 everything, so next time you see this, it'll be jet black. Oh, I'm so excited. It should look like this. Nice and smooth, easy to clean off, and then I'm going to rhino line it, and it's going to be hard to clean off, but that's besides the point. At least it won't rust. It shouldn't rust. In theory, it shouldn't rust. But all this is now clean. There's still a little bit in there. I'll let this dry out a little bit, and then I'm gonna pour 15 the crap out of this poor thing. It's gonna be... See, I almost wouldn't bother fixing the floors in this because it has so many miles and stuff, but the frame rails are just immaculate. I mean, the frame rails really aren't that bad. That one's not great, but we've patched that already. But, I mean, the frame rails themselves are fine. Solid. So, I figure why not take the time, fix the floors, do it right, paint everything so it won't rust, and then should have a Jeep for a long time. Alright, I'm gonna paint this. Okay, I've upgraded to a light for one. Two, I got all this painted, and then I started painting where the floor is gonna set all around there. It turned out pretty good. I tried to get into there as best as I could and up there as best as I could, but I can only get to so much without absolutely covering my hands. I was lucky. I should have put gloves on, but I was lucky and didn't get any on me. I mean, I did, but I used scrubs and got it off. I'll have to do out here when I'm done. Ooh, might be a little bit of a hole there. Oh well. Yeah, I'll get out here when I'm done. You can see some from the inside here when I did the rear floor. I painted it, so that was good. So it's done from here up and from here back. So, I think, yeah, I did as much as I could that way as well. But I'm gonna let this sit up, I think, a little bit longer. Maybe not. I like to put the floor in when this is still wet on here, because then when you sandwich the floor in, you know, put screws in. You'll put screws in and pull the floor together to the frame so that there's not a big gap or anything. But I like to try to pull it together while this is still wet, so it creates, like, you know, like a little seal or whatever. So it'll get the bottom of the floor where it meets this too. I'm hoping in the long term, I'm not going to do the bottom of that floor. I didn't in the coronet either. And I'm hoping with it being painted and everything, it shouldn't rust here. I would feel like it would rust more on where the frame touches the floor. So as long as, you know, I get a good wet, like, thick layer of pour 15, it shouldn't rust in between the floor and then create that, you know, push, the rust will build up and push the floor apart. I don't want that. And this thing's probably going to see a lot of mud, a lot of water, maybe some wintertime driving. I haven't decided if I fully want to drive it in the winter this year because I'm doing all this work and I hate to ruin it. Or if I'll just say screw it and drive it in the winter anyway, which is probably what's going to happen because it's four-wheel drive and fantastic in the wintertime. Alright, I'm going to get this floor sandwiched in, and then I'm going to drill out all my spot weld holes, and then should get on to welding pretty quick after that. Because, I mean, I got everything painted that I wanted to get painted. Most of this I'm not worried about because I'm cutting the outer rocker out anyway and putting the rock slider in. So, that I'm not too worried about. But I'll get, you know, that bead welded all the way across like I did the other side. That bead welded all the way across. And then the front will get stitched, the side will get stitched. And then the front will get a good layer of seam sealer. The side will get a good layer of seam sealer. And then I'm going to order, I think I'm just going to order a new bracket because that one for the seat is a little toast. I thought maybe I could reuse it, but after I started pulling it out, it just disintegrated. So I'm just going to grab a new one of those. And then go from there. Alright, I got this floor cinched down with a bunch of self-tappers. And then I tapped them with a hammer to get them a little bit closer to the frame, as close as I could. Tapped all the holes and stuff. So now I kind of blew all the chips in the pour 15 here, so there's that. But we're just going to pour 15 back over that and then seam seal it anyway, so it's fine. I got it close to the edge here, and then I'm going to have to go on the outside and hit that with a hammer a little bit, because it's just dented up here. See, somebody's either, when they were crushing this, slipped and hit it with the hammer, or they came down on something. I don't know. See the gap? I can get a little closer here, I guess, but everything else is pretty darn snug. But once I weld everything together, those spot welds will be strong enough. I might put another hole here. See, I drilled them out with the spot weld driller bit. Probably put one here, maybe another one here. And then I'd like to do some here, but like this little square thing is bubbled up. I might just beat it down with a hammer and put one there anyway. I don't know. And then all these, I'll probably drill out a little bit bigger with this. And then those will be spot welds too, so it'll be plenty strong enough, and I'm going to bead weld all that. Which I'm happier with this gap than the other side. The other side was like this all the way down. Took me forever. But I got to bend this up some, because there's a little bit of a... It's too far down. So once I bend that back this way, that should meet up a lot closer. Be a better fit. Alright, well, I'm going to get all this at least started welding in. I'll probably have it done by the time I get back to this. Knowing me, once I start, I just don't stop until it's done. Sometimes. Sometimes I procrastinate like that side when I get really tired. Alright, I'm going to get started because it's later and later. Whew, that took a while. It's now dark outside. Floor though, done. Completely welded, other than right here. I need to fix that dent, bring it out, and then weld a couple more spots there. And then I'm going to pour 15 around it, I think, either tonight after I move it, because it's in the garage and I got to put my car back in here, or maybe just tomorrow. I might just wait until tomorrow. I'll just pour 15 everything here, all these spot welds, and then I'll let it sit, and it should dry just fine, no dirt in it or nothing. And then I'm gonna order the seat brace so I can mount the seat correctly, because right now I'm just gonna set it in here and maybe put one nut on it and then call it a day for now. But I'm definitely gonna have to fix that soon. Hopefully, Amazon had them for pretty cheap. Hopefully it comes in before Monday. I'll stab it in, weld it in, and then be good to go. It's been probably a few weeks now. I can't remember, since the last time I filmed. So I've got the floors all welded in. I seam sealed everything. I welded everything. Everything I could get seam sealed because there's still a hole there. And I never beat that up, like, back. So I'm gonna have to figure that out later. But I did get the seat brace that I'm getting ready to weld in real quick. It shouldn't take me long as I get it in the right spot. Which goes right there. Should go right there. Yeah, I've been driving this to work with the seat, like, with one little nut in it. So it's been a little annoying trying to drive this, and the seat's trying to kill you while you're driving 50 miles an hour down the road. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I'm just gonna throw some pour 15 over it and then bead weld it like I did that side. I'll do the same thing to that side. The welder's buried. Oh, actually might need that paint. Cool. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna get a light, and then I'm going to pull the welder out. I'm gonna weld this in quick, and that should conclude this video. Alright, well, I got it sitting in here. I got pour 15'd. All I gotta do now is whack it with a hammer to get it to seat properly. Actually, I probably could just push it down and bead weld it right here where it used to be. But first, I'm gonna need that. And then I gotta clean all this up. Alright, so I didn't end up cleaning that up very well because the pour 15 will not come off. So I'm just gonna burn through it. I did get some bolts to put in those. I got my welding attire on. So now I'll have to take a hammer and beat that down, but I think I can at least tack it in this spot because it's touching this spot and that spot. Should be able to. I'll have to burn through some of that seam sealer I put there. But like that's going to need to get tapped in, the corner of that. All this needs tapped down. I might be able to weld it there. And then definitely there. Hopefully it'll start welding, because I don't know that it's going to get any connection with that. I guess we'll find out. Alright, it's welded in. We're good to go. My welds look awful. I don't know what the welder... It's something up with the welder. I don't know if it didn't have a good ground. Probably that, because I didn't clean off any of the port 15. But we're not going to worry about it. So some of them look a little rough, like that one and that one. That one looks okay-ish. That one looks decent-ish. The other side turned out a lot better. I'm covered in sweat because it's 95. The other side turned out a little bit better than this one, but I'm just trying to get this one done because I started really kind of late out here and I didn't feel like being out here all night, and I still have a windshield to put in my car. I started taking the trim off. That's a separate video. Yeah. So I'm just popping this in, gonna finish pour 15 in it. These are really hot. Ow. Yeah, I'm gonna finish pour 15 and everything. And then it's warm. I'll probably seam seal down in here later. I'll probably not put it in the video. But other than that, other than just the pour 15, I'm about finished up here. I'll get the seat back in it. Hopefully this is straight. Kind of looks a little crooked. It's fine. It's probably fine. Yeah, see, those welds didn't turn out as good as I wanted them to. I could always redo it later. But it is the off-road rig, so it doesn't really, I mean, it's like, bah. The rail's probably a little safer than this is. Rail does have a roll cage. I'm gonna get that not seam sealed. Pour 15. Alright, seat is in. All pour 15. So, I guess that concludes it for the Jeep for now. There's still a lot to come on this thing. I got big plans. Big plans. I want to do rock sliders and fix all this rust. So I'm going to do rock sliders under here. And then I'll also do a bumper. And I think I'm going to do a wraparound bumper. So I'll cut all this off because, I mean, that side's gone. I got a plate in there at some point, and then I'll do the same to this side, which this side is a little bit better, but not great. So we'll just chop it all off, put a gnarly bumper there. But that's it for this video. I'm gonna go put a windshield in. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay outlaw. You'll find two rebels who know where to go. Sam and Jonny, they're the wrenching kings, turning rusted metal into shining dreams. Jay pulled up in a 66 Charger. Crackhead energy, always pushing farther. At Outlaw Ranch Works, where the engines roar. Northern boys fixing up the cars they adore. Vintage steel, the muscle.
thunder inside. Stained hands and a northern soul, working late nights, they're on a roll. With Dodge and Plymouth and a touch of flair, they make the classics breathe fresh air. I'm the cameraman, a Marine with pride, capturing the hustle, never leaving their side. At Outlaw Works, where the engines roar, northern boys fixing up the cars they adore. From vintage steel to muscle might, they bring old legends back to life. At Outlaw Works, hear the engine hum, the work's never done, but they've just begun. From chrome to grit, they take the ride and let the engine roar like thunder inside.